All right, I'd like to call the August 17th, 2022 City Council Workshop to order. It's 4 o'clock. Ms. Sykes, you can call the roll.
Mr. Hill?
Here.
Mr. Jefferson?
Here.
Mr. Sampson?
Here.
Mayor Witt?
Here.
Mr. Dial?
Here.
Mr. Coberline? Chief Butler?
Here. Ladies and gentlemen, the Lake City Council has opened its public meeting. Since 1968, the city code has prohibited any person from making personal, impertinent, or slanderous remarks or becoming boisterous while addressing the city council. Yelling or making audible comments from the audience constitutes boisterous conduct. Such conduct will not be tolerated. There is only one approved manner of addressing the city council. That is to be recognized and speak from the podium. As a reminder, persons do not openly carry a handgun or carry a concealed weapon or firearm while the government body is meeting. With that, we will move into our budget and enterprise funds. Top of the page. Mr. Dye, you have anything before we get started?
Most of everything's pretty well straightforward. As you'll see, the budget went up for 2023, all the revenue, because all the grants were put in. Other than that, everything's pretty much going to be the same except for rising costs in certain materials and payroll and things of that nature.
Okay, let's see. Okay, water sewer, page 84. Unusual in it. I got any questions on the water sewer?
I don't have any, Mayor.
Okay. We'll move into utility administration. I got any questions on this?
Here, question. Trina, Trina, can you help me with this question on the bad debt? I know, in the past, the city has wrote off a lot of, bad debt. Is that where it's, it went from 173,982 down to 137? Is that what that is?
So I think the final number we come up with was 120 for customer service, and then there was some for the airport.
Okay. All right, thank you.
That number there, Mr. Hill, though, that's projection based on what we've actually experienced, and also we have to do a bad debt write-off, which what she's referring to. So we're about to do a bad debt write-off that's gonna be about 120,000, that I think was 160 in the prior year. So it's come down because they've done a really good job of collecting, and also because they've gotten a group of which they charge the customer if they have to go to collect a bad debt. So we're getting that money as well when they collect that. But it's also based on the estimate of what you have to have over the year whenever you do it for audit purposes, to get an estimate on what you think you're not going to collect as well. So that's part of what that number is.
I noticed it came down. That's all I have.
Okay. Anybody have anything? We'll move into customer service. Got anything with customer service?
Mr. Mayor, I got some questions about that. You got some?
No, go ahead, I got it.
I'm curious as to the percentage of people that get e-statements as opposed to mailed statements. Do you have an idea of what that number is?
So right now, we just pulled a report because we did away with our app. So we are going to a different platform, which is called Invoice Cloud. So we pulled a report and we're only at about 15 to 20% for e-billing. Just because there was a little bit of problems with some of our customers saying that they're not getting, there's an initial email that they get in order to subscribe to that, and they were having a problem getting that. With Invoice Cloud, it'll take that away, so we hope those numbers will come up.
Do we know what the cost per customer is to mail as opposed to the e-bill?
I don't have that with me, but I can get it for you.
I was wondering if maybe there'd be some kind of incentive for employees at the desk to sign people up to say, hey, if you sign up so many.
Yeah.
But because postage, that's a big number. You start thinking of what we're spending.
So with Invoice Cloud, we look for that to go down tremendously. We look for a lot more people to go to that just because Invoice Cloud will offer them a lot more. If they do the e-billing, they'll be able to pay a bunch of different ways versus what the options are for now. So we look for that to go up.
That's good.
When will that take effect?
We have a tentative launch date of sometime mid-September. We were hoping around the 8th or 9th, but there's been a little bit of pushback, so they're still building it as we speak. We just had a conference call with them today.
Would they do like kiosk payment where someone could come in like the foyer over there and off times and pay in cash, or?
We can do that, but what it's gonna offer is people will be able to pay by text, people will be able to pay by phone, people will be able to use Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, any of those to pay their utility bills.
That'll be a good step.
Especially the phone payments, we have a
Is
lot
there a
of.
way to advertise that when you mail out bills at some point, maybe November or something?
Yes, we will, we'll actually, probably within the next couple of weeks, we will send out something stating it's coming to let these people know. They're actually building that platform for us now, so we can go in there and build that. So we'll be able to let the customers know that that's coming and that's gonna be available. But yes, we could add a kiosk, we can add a laptop or any of that kind of stuff in the lobby for them to pay.
Okay, very good.
I just wanted to tell Ms. Katrina that I was in your office a few weeks ago, and there was a gentleman ahead of me, and he gave customer service high praise on how y'all treated him and was very helpful to him. So I just wanted to pass that on to you.
Thank you. I think all those ladies worked really hard. When we were talking about write-offs a while ago, those ladies have worked very hard to be able to collect, and we've collected over $20,000 this year in bad debt. Over the last few years, we have collected a total of over $60,000 in bad debt. So they work very hard at making sure that we get any money that's owed to us.
So
Thank you.
y'all keep up with the work.
All right, thanks.
All right, anybody got anything? Next is water plant. is the engineering for water use permit so we can increase our output.
Our current water use permit, expires next year. So we have to get it re-engineered and get it recertified. We are looking to get an increase, but with Swanee River Water Management District, it's gonna be hard.
So that'll be in our application?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question, Mr. Mayor.
Okay.
So I was looking through the salaries. Did you do increases based on certifications this year in the plan, or?
I put in for, increases for the employees, due to longevity, due to licensing.
So they're reflected in this number?
I'm not sure if they are all the way through.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that was addressed because I know we missed last year. And I don't want you to lose people to competing towns.
Yeah, I lost 2 right after last year.
Mike, could you tell me about this professional service? It's like, just about, well, it's dope. 31.
Yes, right here on the next
Okay.
page. That's for that.
Yeah, that's what, Mr. Wade asked about. We got the engineering for the water use permit, and then we also have, money in there for any other engineering projects that we might have to.
Let's go ahead.
Okay. If there's nothing else, we'll move into wastewater treatment plant.
Mayor, question. This question I have, it doesn't really pertain to the budget. Will we ever start by taking those, pump trucks?
$70?
Yeah,
No, I don't see it happening in the future.
just curious.
Yes, sir. Our plants aren't designed, they can't handle that kind of loading on them.
Okay.
Anybody got any questions on the wastewater treatment plant? All right, we'll move to Ms. Prayfield. The spray, it's studying springs quality and quantity, and the other one, about $1.5 million and $1 million. What are they doing with that?
So the Itchituckney Springs quantity and quality is the recharge well project and gravity line tie-in out there. So, basically we're gonna, instead of having to pump water out onto the wetlands, we're gonna tie it in where gravity's out there so we can save on energy and let it run out there 24/7, because, somebody's gotta be there to man those pumps if we run them. So that's what that one is. And the PAR chlorine contact chamber grant is one we've been working on for a couple years to, put in a new chlorine contact chamber where we can run the PAR system and get it operational.
And these are, grants from the DEP.
Yes, sir.
All right. About. Water distribution and collection. Questions on this?
Mayor, on account 46, vehicles and equipment repairs, we have about 400,000 in there for that. Are we replacing vehicles or?
No, sir, that's covering some, we have some equipment needs to be repaired, and also we've got on Ring Power under contract to start helping us with our oil changes and coming around and maintenance our equipment. We've got so much of it now, so we've had to expand, have some outside help. Steve can elaborate more on that. But also every department is having them come by and whatever routine maintenance on them. Like I said, and I have some machines that have to have some tracks and some work done to them.
So that's some of the maintenance cost on our current
Yes, sir.
equipment, our service and our equipment, maintaining them.
So we can make it last a couple more years without buying new.
I didn't blame it there.
We, do the fire hydrants in the county now, or do they do that? Or?
No, sir, we still maintenance them in the county. We're actually in the process. We have about 428, I think, as of the date, that to be completed. We're running a little behind this year because of staffing, but we'll have them done before September 30th.
Sounds good, any questions?
I don't.
Okay,
Thanks, Brian.
move along. Impact fees. Hey, get that. Construction. Anybody got any questions on construction?
Nope.
All right, impact fees. Question on impact fees? All right. Natural gas.
May I make a comment, but it doesn't have anything to do, well, I don't guess it does. Well, it don't have any impact on this budget, but I was just curious, out of the rising in the past year of the cost of gas, I haven't, that I can recall, gotten a single complaint or question about the cost of our gas. And I know I complain personally a lot when I go up to the pump. I haven't gotten any customer complaints about our gas rates and our gas prices.
That means we're doing a good job. So
Neither do-
the main reason for that is we carry a rate stabilization fund of average of 500,000. Basically what that does is it will absorb that. It's a rolling average over 12 months. So in the months that we're actually making more profit off of it, it stabilizes it back out at that 500,000 number. And when the price spikes, then it keeps it from the customer seeing it. We draw out of that fund to help with that. Also, that was one of the reasons why we wanted to hedge the gas, to lock that in so that that fund didn't have to sustain it for such a long time. But that's where that comes in at.
Yeah,
How is the incentive program doing?
The incentive program is doing excellent. I didn't get last year's number. I was just texting to see if I could get an updated number. We were above 450. That's 450 customers. 450 customers on an average of 15 years per appliance. So if you can imagine that coming online, those are either new customers and or customer retention. So the rebate program, we have not had to go above our 75,000 number, which we started in 2017. And we've incentivized at least 450 customers. So that's all profit. Or not profit, but it's all good customers right in the bank.
Is it generally one thing, like hot water heaters, that's pretty much different?
It's all over the market. We introduced the residential first, which was water heaters, ranges, furnaces, that sort of thing. If they'd done a fire log or something small, they didn't receive the full benefit, but if they had a bigger unit like a stove or a range, they did. A couple years later, I went in and done the commercial, which there's not as many appliances in commercial, but they generate twice as much revenue, 3 times as much revenue. So we're seeing it across the board. Again, we're having great success with it. We've had other cities reach out to us and ask us how our program has been so successful. And we've kind of explained to them what we did marketing wise and where we put boots on the ground and target areas that we reached out to. So we're kind of a model for the smaller cities at this point.
Great.
Mr. Mayor, I know a lot of cities are going away from natural gas, but to me, that's a mistake.
Yes, it is.
You've got to create electricity in some way.
Yeah.
So if you do away with natural gas, you're just gonna spend fossil fuels creating electricity somewhere else. But natural gas is clean, it makes sense, and the rebate's nice. I mean, I've heard a lot of good things about that. And once you switch like to heating your house with it, you switch to heating your water with it, you won't go back to electric. I mean, it's way less expensive, even with the increases.
And we've had real good luck with our marketing program from the standpoint of like the radio ads and stuff like that. We hear a lot of that talk where people are saying, hey, I heard about that. We've had customers come in where they were on the fence to debating whether they were gonna change or not. And to your point, they would say, I heard this ad, is this really true? And what it done is it gives us a platform, it gives us a chance to get their foot in the door and explain to them what the actual advantages are. And our success rate is really high once we get to that point.
Anybody else got any questions? All right, that just about wraps us up. That means the staff did a good job of, yeah, this, site has something she did pretty good.
Yesterday afternoon, I forgot to put in the budget. We had agreed to host the Northeast Florida League dinner meeting in December of this year, and I did not put any funds in the budget. I do know that they will allocate or reimburse us, I think, $25 per each guarantee that a member that attends, but there still will be some cost involved, and I did not budget anything for that, so I did not know if you wanted to put a little small amount of money in the council's budget to offset that, or how you wanted to handle that.
After, I think I told them that, we decided not to host it on.
Oh, we're not gonna do it this
No,
December?
we're not gonna, I
Okay.
think Lake Butler is gonna host it. Gonna go ahead and host it for this year.
Okay.
For 2020, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we don't need the money then.
Anybody got anything else?
Yes, yesterday, whenever we were doing the fire budget, remember on Monday night, you allowed them to have that $122,000 out of the ARPA funds. We had already put out the budget books and everything, then, so what I wanna do is I want to go ahead and make a change to the budget for that $122,000 to put it into their food court, because we're gonna go ahead and transfer that money and then offset the expenditure side with the equipment that they plan on buying. So that was we didn't mention that last night in the meeting, so I thought about it today and I thought we needed to go ahead and include that in there. All we're doing is it's gonna reduce the amount of transfers the money that's available over in the general fund, and it's just gonna put the money over into the fire fund.
Righty. Ms. Dunn, I have another question again. It's been an issue about the tent that was purchased a few weeks ago. Was that tent put in the budget for last year?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I'd have to go look and see, but I don't think it was a problem. I think didn't it come out of the CRA? Do you know where that came from, that tent?
I believe it came out of Public Works.
I did it.
Because the reason why I say that, Thomas had spoke to me about purchasing a tent. So I don't know, it didn't never happen while he was here, but I spoke to Mr. Dowd and Terry about it, and they correct me now, Paul, help me out with this, that it had came up about that tent, and so the city got the tent, but it's been some issues about that tent being bought especially for an event. That tent belongs to the city. So I don't know what this person is going with this, but I just want to make that clear that that tent belongs to the city, and Mr. Dow didn't go in his personal pocket to purchase this tent. That tent is owned by the city, is kept by the city. So I just wanted to make that clear.
Yeah, and I can elaborate on that, Mr. Hill. It was in the budget. The previous public works director did have it in the budget for last year. But it was taken out by the previous interim city manager. A lot of items were taken out last year or were cut because of different reasons on the budget to get it to balance. And this year it came along, we were gonna put it back in the budget. We'd actually talked about putting it back in the budget for this year. But we're talking with Terry, Terry has so many events and things coming up, and we have so many rainstorms and stuff here in Florida, that we had some money left over in the public works budget, and we decided with the rate and the prices of everything going up, that it would be advantageous to go ahead and purchase it because we had some events coming up. And so we decided to go ahead and purchase the tent, and it is a city asset. It is used for city functions to benefit the community. And the event that you hosted, I felt that that was a community event. It was to give out school supplies and things for the community. We had city staff that was participating. It was put up on city property. But basically, I didn't see any issue with it, and we were going to get the tent regardless. Me and Ms. Phillips have talked about it several times. But that's the history on the tent, and I'm like you, I don't understand what the issue is, but it is a city-owned tent for city functions.
Thank you, Mr. Dow.
Anything else?
Well, I would say, not repeating what was already said, I'm in total agreement with what Mr. Hill and Mr. Dow said, but I did get a call, was one that got the call about the tent. And it was, what I want to say, well, I was misled with the conversation that I had in reference to the tent. It was conveyed to me as though our city manager bought a tent for Mr. Hill and for Mr. Hill to determine the usage of that tent. And I learned after the fact that the tent belongs to the city, and the city was involved in the function. So I see nothing wrong with the city utilizing the city-owned property on their property in a community event, but it wasn't conveyed to me that way. And so I have a better understanding of it, and I totally agree with Mr. Hill and the city manager in their decision.
Thank you, Mr. Jefferson. Todd, you want to add to this?
I think that the tent needs to be used more. So let's try and use it some more this year. I know Terry's got a lot of things planned, but I thought it was really good to have it that day in particular because it was pretty dang hot.
It was hot and the rain.
And it rained, yeah. Normal for today.
All right. If there's nothing else, we will be adjourned.